Hello, all, and welcome to All Red. We've got a couple days left, Aaron, in the transfer window here, and we've got a couple bright spots with Mamardashvili and Chiesa. But let's chat real quick about remainder of the window and potential signings that could come in. I think there's a few names here that we could discuss. One is probably the most entertaining, which is Anthony Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a couple other rumors out there. We know that deadline day is looming. Deadline day is an interesting time because you don't just have the clubs talking to each other. You have the players potentially pushing for a move as well. And as that deadline day looms closer, the pressure can increase. But I did a video, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, about gaps in Liverpool's first team that really need to be addressed. And I think Chiesa fills one of those gaps, one of those top three gaps for me, which was a Salah replacement. So if Chiesa happens, if the medical happens, and it's a success, and he comes to Liverpool on a 4-year deal for £10 million, incredible. There are a few others. One was a left back, and one was a defensive midfielder, a CDM. Those two to me, and if it's a left back who can also play, that center back position on the left side, that's a bonus. How are you feeling at this point, Aaron, about Liverpool's dealings and potential dealings here in the next 2 days?
I think they'll bring one more player in.
Okay.
I think they'll bring in a left-sided centre-back who can play left-back, and they'll try and do the whole two for the price of one business, because that's Liverpool business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As where, I feel it would be great to go and get a left-back and a left centre-back. I think,
Okay.
or even a prospect. I've seen a link to a centre-back playing in Nantes in the French league called Zeze. He's 19 years old. He's 6'3.5". He's big, he's quick, and he's playing first team football in France. And by all accounts, had a really good season last season.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. That would be a good signing. Someone that you can develop. Someone that can maybe be an understudy to Jarrad Quansah.
Yeah.
And give that seniority to Jarrad Quansah as well, and start to look at the likes of a Jarrad Quansah as a senior figure or a senior, centre back in the club. I think I think that something like that, you'd see the best from Jarrad Quansah. You'd take that on board because he's a very calm character.
Yeah. What about the rumors of Jarrad Branthwaite from Everton? Do you buy that?
I'd love it.
70 million.
I'm a diehard Liverpool fan. I'd take Jarrad Branthwaite in a heartbeat. He's 6'4.5", 6'5". He's quick. He's aggressive. He can carry the ball. If you were to get rid of Gomez and we were to sit on 4 centre backs only, knowing one of them centre backs is Jarrad Branthwaite, I believe in Quansah, Branthwaite, Van Dijk, and Konate, you'd have 4 first team quality centre backs.
Yeah.
Where you wouldn't see much of a difference if you rotated either of the 4. That would be a reflection to what we've got in the forward line, but at the back, you start looking at them 4 centre backs and go, "Whew, they are some centre backs." And that was never the case. You look at Man United back in the day, Bruce's and Pallister's and stuff like that. They had Bruce and Pallister, but then they had like a drop off. There was like players that were good squad members that jumped in. But imagine having 4 first team quality starters as your options. You'd keep Van Dijk happy for years.
Yeah, even even Manchester City, if they were to lose one of their starting center backs, we saw that
We've seen it
a
with
couple of years ago.
Laporte.
Yeah, when he went down, they were 70, 80 point finishing that season, and So, Branthwaite is interesting because if they were to somehow get him, you could see a Kwanzaa Branthwaite for the next 7 to 8 years. Um,
Both 22, 23 years old.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, you probably would look at Van Dijk, offer him a year or two, and say, listen, do you know what? Yes, you're the club captain. You may not
yeah,
play every single game because we've got
right,
a machine sitting on the bench. We've got Van Dijk in disguise sitting on the bench.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the quality of these guys. Kwanzaa, he's almost a mirror image. Yeah, he's the up and
yep,
coming Van Dijk. Branthwaite, he's he's a monster. He tackles well. He's
yep,
aggressive. He's
yep,
everything you want a centre back to be. He also has that little bit of old school in him as well. That kind of 80s centre back. 6'4", 6'5", gets up for the head
right,
as well, but plows into tackles. And 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, he times them to perfection.
yeah. Very controlled, very, very smart as well for his age. Um, that would be interesting. I think the price tag's pretty high, but hey, if the time is right, maybe not this summer, but maybe in the future. What do you make of the Anthony Gordon rumors? I don't know if he has publicly said this, but there are a lot of rumors that are saying he wants the move. He wants, he would be very keen on joining Liverpool. What are your thoughts on Gordon?
I believe Liverpool will have got in his ear, got in his head, and maybe said, you know what, we're not coming for you this season. And the fact that we've gone out and just bought Chiesa,
Yeah,
it shows that, and the way Diaz is playing, why would you want
right,
to swap Diaz for Gordon
right,
right now?
right.
Now, there may be a future move down the line for Diaz, who, next season will be 28. And maybe
Yep,
that's the right time to bring an Anthony Gordon in with 1 year left on his contract and a
yep,
real reduction in what it would take to bring him across to Anfield. So I think they'll have said to him, "Hold out, and we're coming for you."
hmm,
Yeah. If this guy's a diehard Liverpool fan, I watched him the other day. I actually thought for Newcastle he wasn't that great, but you know what? He popped up at the back post and scored.
yeah,
That's great, isn't it? If you can play poorly and pop up at the back post and score, he was playing on the right hand side. Actually, he didn't look too great on the right hand side. But he popped up on the right hand side at the back post, put one in the top corner from about 3 yards out. Job
yeah,
done, in my opinion. He's done his job. So
yep,
if he can come to Liverpool, take over from Diaz, learn his trade a little bit for another year at Newcastle, playing good
yeah,
standard football, doing well for
yeah,
Newcastle, and come with a big reputation next season, but a lower fee because he'll have 1 year left on his contract.
right.
I would say this is almost, in my opinion, I would say this is possibly even been agreed.
It could be, yeah,
Yeah,
could be.
I would almost think Liverpool are very clever, very shrewd businessmen, and if we've had a pre-agreement with Gordon in the past, I think they may have just listen. I don't know anything. I read what's in the what's in the papers, etc., and what's online.
Yeah,
But it wouldn't surprise me with Liverpool that they've just said, listen, we're coming back for you next season, mate. When you've got a year left, yeah,
yeah,
just hold tight. And if you
yeah,
see Gordon not accepting a new contract from Newcastle this season,
yeah.
that'll give you your answer.
Yeah,
He only
absolutely.
wants Liverpool now. If Chelsea come in, he goes to Liverpool. If Man United come in, he goes to Liverpool. This guy's a Liverpool fan. He wants
Yeah,
Liverpool now, and he knows that he can
yep,
come in there, play first team football for his boyhood club, and
yeah,
potentially become a Liverpool hero, a Scouser, scoring goals in big tournaments. And
yeah,
that's what he's got. That's potentially what this lad can do. Probably something he
yeah,
dreamed of as a kid.
yep. And it would be a shrewd piece of business if they're able to do that next summer.
You brought him in for
This,
40 million, Sam. 40 million. Yeah.
yeah,
You're getting an 80 million pound, 70, 80 million pound player for 40 million.
yeah,
35 with 5 add-ons, something like that. Liverpool are
yeah,
shrewd. This is the way
yeah,
they do business.
yeah. And that'd be a great deal. That'd be a fantastic deal. What are your thoughts on the Mamardashvili deal? Obviously, we know that's done now. He's officially signed for Liverpool. He will not be with them this year. He's staying with Valencia for one more season. I, for one, think this is an incredible, incredible piece of business by Liverpool to bring in, the future potentially number one goalkeeper in the world. In 2 to 3 years' time. I think he's 23 right now. But clearly, they're planning ahead. They purchased, a young goalkeeper for 30 million, with the goal and the idea that this guy is the heir to Alisson Becker at Liverpool. I love it. What do you think, Aaron?
Love it. I watched your video on this guy, yeah, when you did a kind of comparison between Mamardashvili and Alisson. And actually, in a lot of the areas, this guy is in the ridiculously high percentile.
Yeah.
He's 23. It wouldn't surprise me if this is not a move that happens in 2 or 3 years.
Right.
This would more than likely, and probably has been done, on the basis that Liverpool will probably get a hefty sum for Alisson next year while he's still considered a young goalkeeper.
Yep.
I think it's clever business from Liverpool. If Liverpool can bring in 50, 60 million for Alisson, and bring, they've already brought Mamardashvili in for £29 million.
Yeah.
A future top goalkeeper in world football. They'll look at that and say, well, we've basically had Alisson's best years, and also we've made a tidy little profit of 25 million on top of it as well. So that's a player. In Liverpool's eyes, they'll probably go, that's a left back.
Yeah. I'm of the notion that I think Alisson still has 2 to 3 more years at the top.
Oh, easy.
He's already publicly said that he wants to stay, and that he loves Liverpool. His family loves Liverpool. He has no intention of leaving. I think it'd be foolish to just say, like, all right, we're getting rid of you next season, because I think he could sign another 4 to 5 year deal. Let's ride the Alisson wave for 2 to 3 more years. Mamardashvili comes in and becomes the number 2 next season, plays in cup games. If Alisson goes down, we've got, another world-class goalkeeper to come in. And then, hey, 2 years left on his contract, he's off to Saudi, and, Liverpool make an incredible profit still. So, we'll see. But now we know that Liverpool are just absolutely covered, really for quite a long time, the next decade, at goalkeeper.
Think of the quality we've got, Sam. Kelleher.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and that Jarrad is not a bad goalkeeper as well.
Right.
He's a good goalkeeper as well, man.
Yeah.
There's probably 4 really good goalkeepers there. But listen, you have to also take into account, let's look at a worst case scenario. Let's say Virgil van Dijk, Trent, and Salah don't sign new contracts. Where's the incentive for Alisson to remain?
Right.
You lose all your world-class players, and you're left with Alisson as your only world-class player. Where's the incentive for him to stay? And I'm not saying he'll go. I'm not saying the other 3 will go. I think actually you might see Salah get offered a 2-year extension. Yeah. And I think I think he may want to go down as the highest ever Liverpool scorer.
Yeah.
Listen, if he does it, if he cleans up this year, cleans up next year, and has another, his last year cleans up 20 goals plus, this lad's, Ian Rush's goal tally for Liverpool, I think it was about 363 goals or something like that. I know Salah's a little bit away from that, but I'd love a little stab at it, Salah. To score 20 goals for 10 consecutive seasons, surely has got to be. Listen, I know he got 19 in one season, but in all competitions, he scored 20 plus in all competitions 8 or 9 seasons in a row. Unreal.
Yeah. Unreal. And he's still underrated by so many people. It's incredible.
Well, listen, sometimes he can be frustrating, though, can't he, Salah? He can be out of the game so badly that you're like, oh, God.
Even the first 2, we don't need to get into a Salah rant, but the first 2 games this season, he hasn't looked all that great, but he's scored. Against Brentford, there were like the first 20 to 30 minutes, it was like, what are you doing, dude? Like long touches, giving the ball right away back to Brentford. It was like, okay. And then, pops up out of nowhere and scores a really good goal.
Yeah, I thought Christoph Ayer marked him really well against Brentford.
Yeah.
But you only need to switch off once against Salah, and his finish, oh my word, what a finish!
Clinical. Let's talk about some loan moves.
Yeah,
Bajcetic, apparently, I think this is a new story. Barcelona want to bring him in on loan for the season.
Mm.
I love Bajcetic. I'm really hopeful. I'm glad that the rumors are not that he is going to be permanently sold. I'd love to see him go elsewhere for a season and prove that he can stay fit and get some quality game time. What do you think of that move?
Is he not gone already?
No, I don't think so.
I thought he went to RB Salzburg.
Salzburg,
to
yeah,
play with
I
Pep
don't know.
Linders.
But now, Fabrizio Romano 4 minutes ago,
Really?
Barcelona submits straight loan proposal to Liverpool for Stefan Bajcetic. So I don't know.
I mean, to play for Barcelona, if Stefan Bajcetic goes in and starts playing that kind of that Busquets type defensive centre mid, that Frankie de Jong defensive centre midfield role for Barcelona, I mean, listen, he's never going to turn that down, is he?
No. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him also. I'd love to see him play at Liverpool. I just, it's been 2 years of injuries, and I'd love to see him go get some regular playing time and see if he can stay fit for a year, because I think he's a really, really good talent. What do you make of Tyler Morton? I don't know if that deal has been done on
buy
loan.
Leverkusen?
Yeah, Leverkusen.
I mean, that'd be amazing for Tyler Morton.
That'd be great.
Imagine Tyler Morton at whatever he is, 20 years old, who has had some really good loan spells in the Championship, played really well, been like probably one of the standout performers for both teams in the Championship. To go to Bayer Leverkusen, who apparently part of the deal is he'll play at least 50% of the games. Yeah, so this is apparently what's being written into the deal. If he was to play 50% of the games for a Champions League club who has just won the Bundesliga, what a move!
Yeah.
What a move! Do you know what, Xabi? Go and teach this lad to be the next Xabi Alonso, and then send him back to us with a load of quality.
That sounds great. Let's do that. There's a loan offer, I think, from Leverkusen for him, which is, at the same time, even that rumor is encouraging, because that means that Xabi Alonso sees something in him and wants to bring him in. Apparently the rumor is that Liverpool have rejected that approach. But I think that'd be a really solid move. And then you've got, potentially Bajcetic and Morton, two guys who can come in as the number 6 for you in the next year or two, with incredible youth and incredible talent. Those would be good deals.
That's why I feel Liverpool won't get a number 6 in this transfer window.
Yeah.
I think sending these two away to see how they get on over the season will dictate whether or not they feel they need to go out and buy a number 6.
Yeah.
Because they're both good ball playing number 6s.
Yeah, they are. They'd be really solid. What do you think about, hey, let's say Gravenberch goes down. He gets injured. Who starts for Liverpool in that spot currently?
If I manage the team, I'd take Gravenberch out. I'll put Trent where Gravenberch is, and put Connor Bradley at right back.
Connor Bradley, yeah. I agree. I would say the same thing.
He may even go the engine on the pitch and take Gravenberch. Listen, I thought Szoboszlai was excellent against Brentford.
Excellent.
He could possibly even put Szoboszlai in that Gravenberch role and just say, give me a box-to-box game. Yeah. Go and play football. Be solid in the challenge. Sometimes Szoboszlai will pull out of 50-50 challenges. I've seen him do it too many times.
Yeah.
But then in the second half against Brentford, he became physical and he started winning battles. And I was like, that's what I want to see from you.
That battle he won.
That's amazing. The one where we scored the second goal.
Yeah.
Class.
Before the Salah goal was all Szoboszlai.
Brilliant. I think he can do it. I think McAllister would be maybe the deeper lying midfielder, and Szoboszlai will kind of clean up in front of him.
Yeah.
Put some legs in there. I think actually a bit of pace, because I don't think Gravenberch's quite as fast as Szoboszlai. I think that bit of pace and just being able to push a Bruno Fernandes to the width, getting him away from that sort of central section on the pitch where he can cause more damage. I think Szoboszlai could do a good job at that. But
I have a theory about...
We've got some options, mate. We've got some options.
I I have a theory about Szoboszlai. I think, I've been surprised that we haven't seen more of Harvey Elliott come in these first two games, because he looked really good in the slot system during preseason. But I feel like arneslot is pushing players to try to kickstart their engines a little bit, and I think Szoboszlai is one of those players that arneslot sees his potential and says, I need you. I want to keep you in the games. I want to start you in as many games as possible to get you into a rhythm, to get you into a flow, because of how crucial he could be to a Liverpool team that becomes a well-oiled machine. Szoboszlai is just one of those players. We've talked about him before. He has power. He has pace, much more than Harvey Elliott does. They have different characteristics, but Szoboszlai is just, stature-wise, his body type, his frame.
6'1", 6'2". He's a big lad, and he's fast.
He's like a Schweinsteiger type of a player, like just a destroyer in that attacking role. And I agree with you, Aaron. I think as a box-to-box midfielder, Szoboszlai could put in a really good shift. But even just having this conversation now, it's like, we have options, maybe not first choice options for that Gravenberch role, that deeper lying double pivot number 6, but we do have options. McAllister can be there. Trent can be there. And we have suitable backups in their positions should they need to shift over into that role. But like you said, we've got a lot of up and coming, number 6 type midfielders coming through the ranks. We also have like 5 or 6 left backs that are probably a little young at the moment in the academy, but a lot of quality there as well, that probably are a couple years off at this point. But
I think Owen Beck's just gone out on loan as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, Owen Beck. Did you see that Luis Koumas scored a goal?
I've seen it, yeah. They got beat 2-1, but he scored, didn't he, yeah?
Scored a goal. Yeah, he's one I highly rate. I'm excited for him. I think he could.
I think he's a Scouser as well, Luis Koumas.
I think so. I think so.
Listen, Koumas, I watched him play. I like him. I think Jayden Danns has got the physical attributes to be a really good Liverpool striker. He's 6'2", 6'3". Yeah. He's a proper cheeky Scouse lad. Yeah. He's a Liverpool fan. He's quick. He's big. He's strong. And unfortunately he got injured at the wrong time. I'd like to see him go and maybe have a year somewhere. But you know what? I mean, he could be the future. We might have just uncovered a bit of a gem in Jayden Danns, because his finishing ability is excellent as well.
Yeah. No, he's one for the future for sure. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and not sure what he does this season. Maybe he just spends more time in the academy after picking up the knock that kept him back here instead of going out on loan. Realistically, Aaron, what would make you happy at 10, 11 p.m. Friday, deadline day, when the transfer window officially closes? What would make you sit back and say, yeah, that was good. That was good.
At the absolute minimum, I'd like to see a left centre-back who can play left-back come in at the absolute minimum. No, probably not even Inacio. Yeah. Hincapie, yeah. I think he's quite physical. He's a bit of a destroyer as well, and I think he knows he plays really good football, because that's the Leverkusen's way of playing football. They play nice, progressive football.
Yeah.
I think he'd be ideal. I think he's 6'2", which is a decent height as well. So I think he could play that left side. He could fill in for Van Dijk if needs be as well. I think he'd be a great purchase. That's the absolute minimum.
Okay.
If they were to bring in Chiesa, bring in number 6, and bring a left centre back, I'd love to see Gomez stay as well, and have Gomez as an option as well. And to have that stability at the back would be great.
Gomez was on the team sheet at the weekend, didn't play, but it was on the team sheet.
He had to, because Kwanzaa was there actually. Kwanzaa was on the bench, wasn't he? He picked up a knock in training, but I thought he might have been out. But listen, Gomez, I hope he stays around.
I hope he does too. I think he's a really good asset, and I don't see a need to sell him unless he's pushing for a way out to get more regular first team football.
I'd say Robertson's probably the weak link in the team at the moment.
He played well against Brentford, but
defensively, yes.
Yeah, and he probably should have scored,
Oh,
but didn't.
definitely should have scored. I mean, at least the header.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Both
I think he
both
looked
both of his chances, all he needed to do was go across the goal, and both of them, he
right,
probably could have walked off with 2 goals.
right. I thought he looked a lot better. I think he was much improved from the first week
Absolutely.
against Ipswich.
Defensively, he
And
was, but listen, I don't know whether or not. One thing that frustrates me a lot with Andy Robertson, and I've said it for years, is I think sometimes he plays with such intensity and pace
yeah,
that he forgets a 5-10 yard pass, how to execute it.
yeah,
That's irritating. He'll run at pace and he'll be out of position, and he'll go to play a simple ball to Diaz, and he'll hit it to the opposition. And then they have an attack, and then Robertson's massively out of place. I'd like him to just slow down at times, concentrate on his defending, and just build
yeah,
up a little bit slower at times, because Diaz is the legs. Use
yeah,
Diaz as the legs now, yeah? Pick
yeah,
that ball. Diaz will come in at the halfway line and say, give me the ball. I'm going to run. Yeah,
yeah,
Diaz will work himself to the grave for 70 minutes and then say, Gakpo, come on, come and replace me because I'm knackered for working so hard for 70 minutes.
yeah.
That's what Diaz
Would you?
gives you. He is a
Would
South American terrier.
yeah? Would you take out Nuri from Wolves?
No, because I think he's a replica, a carbon copy of Robertson.
Okay.
Would I take him? Yeah, I'd take him because it's a backup of a good quality. Do I think he has the ability to fit into what Slot's trying to do? I don't know if he does. I don't know if he does. I don't know whether or not actually he would be a little bit samey as Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to maybe slow it down a little bit at left back. Put someone on that can play for. Listen, Trent's not the fastest in the world. Doesn't need to be. He has that wand of a right foot. He can put the ball.
Yeah.
You say, put it at Diaz's foot. From anywhere on the pitch, he's putting it to Diaz's foot. Put it to
Yeah.
whip it round the corner and play it in front of Salah 10 yards so he can run onto it. Bang, he'll do that. Robertson
Yeah.
doesn't have that.
No. Not many
Robertson's a
players
better
do.
defender than Trent, don't get me wrong. But I'd like someone that maybe didn't have the same type of. I mean, literally, he had good defensive attributes, great. But I'm not saying he has to be Trent, but someone that can do similar things to what Trent can do, like a whip the
Yeah.
ball around the outside to Diaz to be able to run onto. Someone, a creator, yeah, a creator, someone on the left hand side that can create. Slow it down a touch, but create at the same time.
Yep. And be part of kind of that back three that is when we get possession now, we
Yeah.
transition into this like, well, it's almost like a four. What is it, like a 4-4-3? Because Allison becomes part of one of those back
Well,
four
he's a
essentially
sweeper,
in
isn't he?
possession. Yeah. So you've got Allison, Van Dijk, Robertson, and Konate kind of as that back four that dink the ball around until something opens up in the middle. And it appears right now that Arneslot prefers Robertson in that role. He trusts him in
I
that
prefer
role.
Robertson in that role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer Robertson in that role. Robertson's the best left back we've got.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I made an observation from the first game to the second game, Sam, and you may agree with me. In that first game against Ipswich, we were so slow at starting build-up from the goalkeeper.
So slow.
And the amount of pressure we brought on by Ipswich it looked like Allison may have one of them little mistakes in him. Because we're moving that ball at the back too slow, we're letting the attackers come onto the ball and giving ourselves minimal space to be able to execute the pass. Brentford, you didn't see that.
No.
Yeah, they moved the ball quicker at the back.
Yep.
They didn't let the attackers come on as much. You want them to come on so you can take them out of the equation when you progress the ball. But it worked a lot better against Brentford, and I would say against Man United, it may work a little bit better again because this is something that's developing.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think Gravenberch could be the cog, mate. He could be the one that makes this game tick tomorrow. On Sunday.
Yeah, I think I have already forgotten 2 games in that we have a new manager and it's only been 2 games, and we shouldn't expect a perfect execution of his plan, but it's been good so far. And I expect it to keep getting better and better each week. Perhaps, starting the game a little bit faster and not waiting until, late in the first half or early second half to kind of kickstart it and really get it flowing. But the model is there, and
agree, mate.
And I think Arne Slot is really good. There was a Feyenoord fan that made a comment on a video a couple months ago after Arne Slot agreed to come to Liverpool, and he said, Arne Slot, a lot of his players that he coaches, that he manages at Feyenoord, they leave and go elsewhere, and they don't really do very well because they're not under the Arne Slot system. He said Arne Slot takes his players and makes them look probably way better than they actually are because of his coaching, because of his system, because of his coaching style, his abilities, his tactical kind of genius. Well, now Arne Slot has a world-class lineup of players at his disposal.
Agree.
And I think as you see him kind of tinker and play around with different things week in and week out, you also have a team of players that are just very intelligent. And I think that's why he's been able to implement his style so quickly here. Diaz didn't come into the team until the last week of the preseason. McAllister was the same way. We didn't really get to see Virgil van Dijk in the preseason at all, Allison. So the fact that they're able to come in to implement this style so quickly and see results already with 2-0 wins, dare I say, somewhat comfortable wins, especially last week against the Bees, is really incredible. And it just kind of shows you that Arne Slot is one to build for the future, while at the same time wanting to get results in the now. Agree. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to watch.
Absolutely.
Thrilled to watch Liverpool go to Old Trafford and see what kind of little tricks Arne Slot has up his sleeve for the Red Devils. So, yes, Aaron.
Yeah,
all right, we'll leave it at that. Really good discussion, Aaron, on the remainder here in the summer transfer window. I think we're in alignment. I'd love to see one or two more players come in. Definitely want to see a left-footed defender, and if possible, hey, maybe a project, a young project that can come in, have an impact on the first team this season, while at the same time building for the future. We will see. We will see, indeed.
Well, listen, Chiesa come out of nowhere.
Yeah, he did.
That's a Liverpool signing. Chiesa just come out of nowhere.
Yes, he did.
So Liverpool,
for £10 million.
This is the way Liverpool work. So that whole opportunistic terminology fits in perfectly with this signing.
Yep.
10 million for a potential world-class player on his day.
Yeah.
Potential world-class on his day. Now he needs to have a few of them days.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Like I said yesterday, Aaron, il tempo lo farà. You know what that means? It means time will tell.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
Il tempo lo farà.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to say anything in Italian as we leave off here, Aaron?
Arrivederci.
Very good. I'm going to go eat spaghetti for lunch.
Buongiorno, come stai?
More of a rigatoni guy, actually. Spaghetti. Yes.
Yeah. I like Italy. Yeah, of course.